This is KGW News at noon.
Thank you for joining us this noon. I'm Nina Melhoff in for Brenda, and this is the day that 168,000 seniors age 80 and above become eligible to get the COVID-19 vaccine in Oregon. KGW's Pat Doris has been tracking all of this for us. It is a lot to track, and I know people have been signing up now, Pat, for at least the past 3 hours this morning. How is it going that you're hearing?
Well, it's going relatively well. For folks who are signing up online, this week, actually, at the convention center is already booked. The good news is they're also taking reservations for next week. So don't despair if you're 80 plus and still trying to do that. The vaccination site, that's going on at the airport, I believe they have just started to open that up. And that's the one that actually has a lot more appointments that are available. So there were 1,000 doses reserved at the convention center for the seniors 80 plus, and then there's 4,450 reserved at the airport because they knew it would be easier for folks to drive through. So there should be a lot of appointments available there if you're going through the online. And that's what we know so far. We've heard from several seniors who have successfully navigated it and able to get some appointments, as well as their adult kids who've also been helping with that as well.
Yeah, no kidding. I've just heard from somebody, the line is wrapped around the convention center right now, so there's a lot of people clamoring to get that shot. Pat, a lot of this depends on going online, going on the computer, clicking through, kind of a long list of questions. What if you don't have a computer? You're not tech savvy, which a lot of these seniors aren't. What can they do?
Right. Well, we've been urging the state to set up a statewide toll-free number. It appears they're not really going to do that, but you can, in the meantime, call 211. And if you're in the greater Portland area, you can ask to be transferred to the call center. And those people at the call center can look at the appointment websites for either the convention center or for the airport. And if there are openings on the days and times that you want, they can actually make that appointment for you. It's unclear to me whether 211 can also do that for the other places in the state. I think they cannot, but the state is also going to be launching later today a getvaccinated.oregon.gov, which still doesn't help people that are technologically challenged, but you might be able to make your reservations statewide through that site. And then, Nina, I also just wanted to point out the folks that are down at the convention center today are not part of this group because the first appointments that were available start Wednesday.
Gotcha. Good thing to clarify. Okay, we hinted at it. Snowflakes might be coming like Thursday into Saturday. What if you have an appointment and you don't want to drive in inclement weather, or it does, really snow and you can't go? What are they doing about those appointments?
Well, I've asked that and I've not heard back specifically, but being reasonable people, I'm sure that you'll be able to reschedule. And I'm telling the people that I know, if you have a choice, you probably don't want to go on Thursday because Matt was saying earlier today that could be when we get our first snowfall. So even if there's an appointment, a week from today,
you'll still get it. Yeah, get it on the calendar.
Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, you'll still be able to get the shot. They're not going to throw you out of the system.
Okay, last question, because a lot of these websites and, of course, the convention center and the airport, it's really for folks here in the Tri-County metro area. Outside of that, what do people do to get an appointment?
Well, the easiest thing is probably going to be to call your local public health department. Figure out what county you're in and then call that health department and ask them how you can sign up to get vaccinated. If you want to be techie, you can try that new site, which the state is going to make live sometime today, getvaccinated.oregon.gov. It's also on the OHA main site where you can sign up now for the convention center or for the airport. But those are going to be the easiest things. Really, if you're worried about the computer and all that, just pick up your phone, call your local public health department, and ask them where you can get a shot. Okay,
well, they said it was going to be messy and unfair when these vaccines came out, and boy, were they correct. Pat Doris giving us the latest for us on this Monday. We appreciate it. Okay, let's go across the river to Washington because this week's appointments at the Clark County Fairgrounds are already spoken for. They open up slots every Sunday. They had 4,000 reservations available this week, and boy, they went fast. They were gone in 15 minutes. So far, the site in Ridgefield has vaccinated about 6,700 people in less than 2 weeks. About 5,000 doses will be set aside this week for Oregon prisons, and then another 5,000 will be set aside next week. Last week, a federal judge ruled inmates need to be vaccinated immediately because they're almost 10 times more likely to get COVID than the average person. There are about 12,000 inmates in Oregon prisons, and more than 1,000 of them, by the way, who are either older or more vulnerable to COVID, have already gotten their shots. Okay, let's talk about pharmacies, because that, let's be honest, is going to be the easiest way for you to get the shot in the future, and they are set to receive doses this week. Doses are being shipped to Albertsons, Safeway, and Costco pharmacies, along with some smaller independent ones. Safeway and Albertsons are offering appointments online, but they're pretty hard to get right now. The goal is, of course, to speed up distribution, get those shots into arms, and eventually expand this program to 40,000 pharmacies across the country. We talked to an Oregon State professor who specializes in streamlining healthcare services, and he says the smaller pharmacies, they're going to need more help to process all this new paperwork.
They're doubling the amount of work for people without doubling the amount of help. Additional manpower is always helpful. Like, I can't administer a vaccine, right, but I will certainly help in documenting data.
So he is pushing for volunteers or extra staff to help with that administrative work so pharmacists can tend to regular patients and people getting vaccinated. All right, let's talk schools now, because after 10 months of virtual learning, the Estacada School District has reopened all of its buildings now to hybrid learning. Kids in grades 2 through 5 are back in the classroom today for the first time in 10 months. Kindergarten and first graders started 2 weeks ago. At Clackamas River Elementary, the principal says every child is wearing a mask. There's also a lot of safety markers in the school to keep kids at their distance and wash their hands. Each classroom will only have 15 kids. This is a hybrid model, so it's 2 days in the building and 2 days at home, and the principal says the students are so excited to be back.
Lots of smiles, ready to walk in. Kids this morning were skipping off the buses. They're ready to be here. They've been gone for 10 months, and that's far too long for our kids to be out of school. So they were happy to come back.
Yeah, she says the district has been prepping for a return to school for months, and that transition has been easier than they expected. That's great.